I am adding so much shit to my drink this morning. Like, wait, I cannot carry this. That's not smart. Why would I do that? This is all I'm adding to my drink. To this drink, I am going to add about 2 tablespoons of cacao powder. It's basically going to be like a big hot chocolate, but with a bunch of other superfoods. I'm using a little bit of Long Jack powder, just a teaspoon. A little bit of amla berry. Some vanilla protein powder. Some raw milk thistle. Mirapuana. Some cinnamon. I'm also going to add a little bit of maple syrup for sweetener. You could also use coconut sugar or regular sugar or date sugar or agave. How did I choose to live in a van? Well, that was weird of me to do. Oh, it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. This is definitely an alternative lifestyle. So I thought I would talk about what led me here, what led me to travel in a van. And I think it pretty concretely began 3 or 4 years ago. But broadly, I've been wanting to do something like this since I was a child. I've always loved art, and so I wanted to always have a lifestyle that enabled me to create art, enabled me to make videos or write or draw and paint. I also always loved traveling. I always wanted to live a life of travel. But about 4 years ago, I was in college, my freshman year, and I met a boy, and we started talking and dating, and we were both pretty poor. Like, we didn't really have money, but we both loved traveling. We really wanted to travel. We just got innovative with it. We just started going to different national parks in his car. He had a Honda Accord, and we would either sneak into the national park, not sneak in, but we'd like go in after the gates would close, and so we didn't have to pay the national park fee, and then we would take food from the dining hall, so we didn't have to pay for food, and we would either sleep in his car or we'd find somewhere to pitch a tent. And we would never like buy campsites, we would just find places, and it wasn't always necessarily legal. I don't know, not legal, but it wasn't designated camping areas. We kept it really low budget, although we had to do a lot of like ins and outs, and it was very difficult. Like, a Honda Accord is a small car, and when we did sleep in it, it was very uncomfortable, but it was some of the best times of my life, best moments of my life, biggest adventures I had gone through, and I fell in love with nature, with national parks, with the spontaneity of being able to choose our destination every single day. That lifestyle really appealed to me, and I realized that you don't need a lot of money to travel. So we kind of broke up, and I decided to continue this path of travel. And because I still didn't have money, I just used my family's car. This car I had since I was in high school. It was a really old 1998 Chevrolet Suburban, and I didn't really do much to it. I just ripped out the seats, and I put a foam pad that I had from my dorm in the bottom, and then I made little foam inserts out of insulation for the curtains. And I traveled to a lot of different places in that. I went to Arizona, New Mexico, California, Colorado, and again, it wasn't luxurious by any means. We were spitting in Ziploc bags. We didn't really know where to park, so that caused a lot of problems. Sometimes we were in extreme temperatures, and that caused a lot of discomfort, really cold in Lake Tahoe in the winter and stuff like that. But again, despite all these really low lows of the travel, there were so many high highs. And I realized that if we want to diminish the lows, numb the bad, you can't selectively numb emotions. You numb the bad, you numb the good. And so allowing myself to experience this like really low, hard challenges was really making the highs so rewarding. That's what life is about, is calculating risks and like dealing with discomforts and pushing through and pursuing something that is beyond this crazy safety that we have in our society. Like, we're such a safe society. We just want everything to be so safe and controlled, but life is not safe and controlled. And when we live in a safe environment, I believe that it's very disorienting to our human spirit, because I don't think that's the natural state of the human spirit. The human spirit is meant for adventure. It's meant for risks. That's why I think that was such an incredible experience for me. During that time, I was really depressed, though. Like, I really was pursuing a career and a degree that I did not want, and I was lost and confused. Yeah, that was a really hard time for me. It wasn't a low the way I would experience a low in living in a van or traveling as. It was numb, and that was the worst thing ever. I just felt dead. I felt numb all around and lifeless, like a zombie. And so after about a year of that, like, depression, lifelessness, I realized that I needed to turn my shit around. I dropped out of college and I started grinding. I already had some savings because I always wanted to save to travel. So I had a fair amount of savings from when I dropped out, but then I really needed to grind to buy a camper van. I didn't want to take a loan. I wanted it to be mine. And so I started working multiple full-time jobs. Like, I worked at a therapy center for autistic kids. I'd work there full-time, and then whenever I get off, I'd babysit a child. And then whenever I finish from that, I'd do overnight babysitting a lot of times. And overnight babysitting is great because you literally just get paid to sleep at the house and take the kids to school or something, but, like, that's great money. Simultaneously, as I was doing that, I was also selling all of my stuff on different websites like Mercari, like selling clothes, selling items that I knew I wasn't going to need, and I was selling artwork, all my canvases, all the art I had done in prior years, I was selling, and I was selling my jewelry that I was making as well. So I had all these different streams of income, and I managed to make actually a lot of money. But I think the problem with today's society is not making money. Like, I think we can all make money, whether we just go to, like, the nearest restaurant and get a hostess job, or we have a degree and can get something a little more substantial. We all have avenues to make money. The problem is not making money. The problem is spending money. We spend so much money, and that hurts us. Like, it really does. So for that time period, I literally did not spend money. I did not eat out one time and I remember the exact meal. It was my friend's birthday, and this was like an internal conflict for me. I kind of went extreme with this saving mindset. But I like did not want to spend money on my friend's birthday because we were all going to dinner. And I think I got a little obsessive with it, but I think that's what brought me here now and allowed me to now have, like, this luxury of, like, a really nice van with a lot of things that I'm really grateful for. But yeah, I mean, I did not spend a single cent on anything other than, like, food, that really cheap food from grocery stores, like rice, beans, potatoes, seasonal veg. And that's why I learned to cook too, is because it was cheaper. So yeah, that's kind of what brought me here.